Hey, what's up, guys and gals? Husky Racer here. Thought I'd give you an update on how well the 2020 FX 450 performed and go over some of the components that I put on the bike and how well they performed, so you may have an idea of how you need to prepare your bike for some serious Colorado rock. We were actually going to spend 10 days up in Colorado, but the winter storm came and drove us out. We were only there for 4 days, and during that 4 days we had some really good riding. So it gave us an opportunity to test out some of these products on our bikes, and specifically this bike, to see how well they would perform for future excursions up there. All right. So first off, the stock suspension is all that's on this bike. It is the XACT forks, air forks basically. It has one air chamber on one side, compression on the other. And quite honestly, I set the compression and the rebound soft. And as we were hitting like bowling ball size rocks, and I never had an issue. I really didn't. No deflection other than what you would normally deflect anyway because of the rock up there. So I was real happy. Now, one thing I did have, of course, is a steering damper on here. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say Scott's steering damper because it's not. If you guys remember some time ago, I ordered one of those cheap Chinese steering stabilizers from, I think, Alibaba or something like that, and not Wish, but Alibaba, I believe. And it was like $100, and I had to buy the post and everything from Scott's, but the unit itself for $100, and it works. I'm not sure the tolerances on the inside of the unit and how well they match the Scotch unit, but I can tell you this thing works. And for $100, and I know I'm giving money to the Chinese, but you're giving money to the Chinese every day as well. So don't talk shit. All right, got a little bit of bling here. That's no big deal. But down here, I've got the Tusk fan. This was also installed before the trip, and it worked like a charm. We set it at let me see. It says 189. Should have been 190. But that's what I wanted to set it at because realistically, you're supposed to set your fan, I think, 10 degrees below boiling. So, like if it's boiling at 220, you'd set it at 210. I prefer to go about 190 because I had some issues, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute. All right, so then I've got the steg pegs over here, and they did okay. To be honest with you, they locked me. I never had arm pump one time out there. And, I'm a, 57-year-old vet rider and, race some expert class. I'm back in the intermediate now because I haven't raced forever. But to be honest with you, I really expected to have some arm pump. But, I just locked into these going uphill. And, it did make it a lot easier. It was almost like cheating in some cases. So they work if you like them. They're kind of weird because you can feel them. You can also double up the puck on here if this isn't, enough to catch your boot. It catches mine fine, so I'm just going to leave it. And I do have mine set in the middle position. You can see, space here and space here. It's in the middle position. All right. The shock again, totally stock except for the X-Trig adjuster that I put on there. And this has been amazing because it allows me to change, the sag of the bike, which is the, the squat of the bike. And so that's been amazing. I love it. I'll have one on every bike that I own. And again, I ran this at a soft compression and a soft rebound. All right, down here, I can give you the numbers as well if you want those. So just ask. Excuse me, just ask me. All right, so got a little bit of bling here. But to be honest with you, this is also functional. This helps me adjust the rear chain I'm seriously near perfection. I use a micrometer when I adjust my chain, so I like it to be like, I'm super anal about it. And this is great. This is from what is it? Mojo Moto. Okay, and then down here I've got this Tusk rear disc guard. And I will show you this. All right, take a look. See that? Yeah, that's damage. That's damage. Okay, see that? Yeah, that thing got tore the fuck up. But check it out. Worse or best, I don't know what you want to call it, but I don't know if you can see this, but almost touching the disc. I mean, within millimeters of touching the disc. But the cool thing is, the disc came back undamaged. You can take this off with 3 bolts down here, and you can actually replace this piece without having to replace, because if you can see, this is an entire carrier for the brake. So I don't have to replace the entire item, but just this fin down here that's bent in. I think. I don't know. I got to look at it. Quite honestly, let me see if I can show you where it connects. Yeah, you see that? You see those bolts there? That's where it connects. But quite honestly, I think that whole thing is bent. And I think I'll probably end up having to replace the whole thing. But I don't think it was like but $70 or something like that. So it was well worth it. Now, you saw how badly that was damaged. Look at this swing arm. Look at the damage on this swing arm. I know, it looks pretty good, right? You know why? Because, yeah, I put these on. I went and got these from, I think, a Cherbus or Polysport. They clamp right, they just snap right over, and then you use a zip tie. And so, of course, when I washed the bike, I pulled it off, and they look great. Here's the other side. Look at that. They look absolutely great. All right, so while I'm on the other side, I ran a Turner aluminum 50-tooth rear sprocket. Not sure about it yet. I am looking at the teeth and seeing some kind of weird shit. So, I don't know. I'm going to look at that a little bit more. I also ran a Bike Master black and gold chain, which I love the looks of it. Stiff as hell, though. And this was after, you know, a week of breaking in, man. That's just, wow. But anyway, we'll see what I think about that later. So yeah, stake pegs again. Anything over here on this side? Okay, so we put the front disc guard on there. This is a Bulletproof Designs, really very nicely made guard. I'm not crazy about it because the way that I like to adjust my forks is to make a final adjustment with these, and it's kind of tough when you have this in front. So there is also a fork adjuster tool that you can snap in here, and it will automatically align your forks. I believe that's by Motion Pro, so I think I'm going to probably end up buying that for a couple reasons. Number one, I love to have tools and do shit like that. Number two, yeah, that's why. So over here, even though I had this, look at this. Get this stuff out of the way. Yeah, it's dirty because I haven't cleaned it yet. But I had this monstrous skid plate on. You can see it goes way up there on the right side, not so far up on the left side, right? Well, guess what got damaged? The left side, right about where it stopped. I think the thing stopped right about here. So what I will be doing, and I've already ordered one, is an ignition cover, just so we can apply. I think it's by Polysport, and we'll put the ignition cover on there. Some little things that I purchased. I purchased a shifter, a brake lever on the other side, and a clutch and brake lever on this side. Now these are aftermarket products. I took the stock products off, and just kept them with me in case I broke one of them. And then I would have, one of the stock pieces to put back on, which are great pieces, to be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with a stock shift lever, brake lever, or clutch and brake lever up top. There's nothing wrong. KTM and Husqvarna, they make excellent pieces. I just thought these looked cool. I wanted to put them on, and I would have extras. Now, with all of that said, I also put on, I think, a set of front brakes. But with all of that said, man, here's the worst thing that happened. Now, keep in mind, this damn bike only had, I think, 3 or 4 hours going up there. And so what you're seeing here is, yes, you are seeing the top of the motor off of the bike. Okay. And the reason why is because it blew a head gasket. We rode one day, and then something else is weird too. When I took this screen out, the damn screen was bent. Like, what in the actual fuck? Now, that's a Scott's screen. No, I'm sorry, it's not. It's a Flow. It's a Flow oil filter is what that is. Oops, sorry. That's a Flow oil filter, and not sure why that thing was bent like that. But anyway, out riding, was out by Texas Lakes, and stopped to wait on a couple of guys that were riding with me, and went to start the bike wouldn't start. Just kept spinning over like I'd blown the top end, like compression was just crazy free. Anyway, long story short, get it back to the camp and find out it is a what we think is a head gasket. So I checked these bolts, right? These head bolts. Brian Story over at Adventure Moto, who's a great guy, ISDE rider. There's 4 of these. There's 1, 2, and then there's a couple more on the other side. Anyway, he said, check those. He says, we've had an issue or not an issue, but he said he saw a 450, same symptoms, low hours, checked the head bolts. They were all unevenly torqued. Went in here, checked the head bolts. One was at 50, one was at 44, one was at 32, I think, and one was at 40 something. So could it have been torqued from the factory that way? I guess I would like to think it wouldn't be. I don't know what they're, how they torque them, if they're manual or whatever. But we ended up retorquing every one of them, I think, to 41. I know that's more than what it calls for, but we just figured at this point, let's just try to seal the head up and see if it would start. And because we didn't have a head gasket, I didn't bring a head gasket. How about that? So anyway, we sealed it back up, started it, and it ran perfect. It ran just fine. We made sure that we did have engine ice in it. It did puke out the engine ice a little bit. Well, actually, it puked out an entire radiator, and so we ended up having to go back and put engine ice in it, and it did that because it was actually blowing it out through the exhaust side, I guess, from what I was told. I always thought it just, when you blew a head gasket, it, came out of the rear, or you could see milky. It's just not the case. So anyway, that's either an issue Husqvarna's having, because Brian said that it was the last, it was a recent bike. This is also a new bike. So keep your eyes on that. One last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and gals, was the Fastway insert. I'm going to tell you that it may be because I was up in Colorado. I don't know. But I know the bike has, was low on power up there because, from what I understand, you lose like 25% of your horsepower from sea level to there. So, but this made it, in my opinion, a little worse. I had to take out that draconian looking torture device that was inside the stock can. It looked like a spark arrestor. It was a cone, but it was really thick, made of heavy metal, and was the bitch to get out. and I had to take that out in order to put this insert in here, this fire spark arrestor, just this part here. So I could tell immediately, yeah, there was a little bit of low end loss. I can tell that because maybe I'm a racer, I don't know, but I could definitely tell. And then up in Colorado, I think it was a little worse. I would have loved to run the bike, the can totally stock. Or maybe I should have got an FMF, I don't know. But we tried the fast way. I might go FMF. But that's about it. I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed. The seat, the Husqvarna FX seat that I had on there was amazing. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And we ran the Dunlop AT81s. I don't think they're the stickies. Somebody told me the AT81 made a sticky tire. I don't know. This is just the 81F. It's the AT81F, so I don't know what that means. But that's what I ran. And then the last piece of armor that we put on here was the piece by Pro Carbon Racing. Again, those guys are over in Europe. If you get a chance, Google Pro Carbon Racing and buy their product. It's good stuff. I'm telling you right now. Other than that, man, yeah, the bike looks like it's about 30 years old now. But again, this is just coming back from Colorado. I haven't really polished it up at all. And yeah, this is what she looks like. And that's what happened. Okay, I appreciate y'all checking me out, man, and hanging in there. And let me tell you something about my trucking buddies. I love you guys, gals, and you have not been forgotten. It's just, I'm just in a different space right now. And, I hope the friendships we've made will last. And perhaps, you never know, I might buy a truck here pretty soon and throw one on the road. So anyhow, you guys take care. Leave any comments you'd like below. Don't like it, subscribe, unsubscribe, whatever you want to do. But whatever you do, man, just do it safely and do it with a smile and be happy. All right, take care.